Hi everyone, just in my gym doing a workout. I thought I would do a little video for you. Just a random video, just talking about prison stories, because I know a lot of my viewers said they're more interested in the prison stories. I'm going to still upload all the different content on everything else as well, but I will talk a lot more about prison stories. But I am just doing one of my daily workouts on the cross trainer here. It's probably doing you nothing when you're seeing us bouncing up and down on the screen. But never mind. But a few of me viewers have been asking about content about prison food, gang rivalries in prison, and screws, what the staff's like. So I'll start by talking about prison food. Like, prison food is absolute dog crap. It's my first experience of it when I went in. The food is just absolutely boiled to death. Like, they start cooking the food 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, and this is your tea time meal. So they start prepping the food at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's just boiling away all day in the kitchen. And then even when it's cooked, it's obviously they've got to keep it warm, so they just leave it simmering, or they leave it in the trolleys in the water. So by the time you get it, say you get some cabbage or whatever, or a bit of broccoli. Broccoli was my favourite veg. You used to get it and it was just no goodness left in it because it's been boiled that much. There was always plenty of it left, like, because most of the lads in there didn't eat vegetables. They used to send a container over of broccoli with enough to serve about 10 people. But if you had a few fit lads on the wing who were eating healthy, oh, there was no matter. There was no broccoli left at the end. Absolute nightmare. But I remember in Durham prison, they have the same menu week after week, and everyone used to look forward to the Thursday night meal, sorry. Those that have been in Durham will remember this. They used to get a battered fish on a Thursday night. But I tell you what, it was actually quite decent. It was it looked like it was from a fish shop, to be honest. It was greasy as hell. Horrible. I mean, it wasn't fresh grease. Grease that had been there for weeks, months, being used every day, thick, tall looking grease. And that's what your fish was cooked in. But beggars can't be choosers. A bit of fish in there was lovely. Used to get your mushy peas with it and all, and your chips. But you used to get 3 meals a day. To get your breakfast, your dinner and your tea. And you used to get opened up at 8 o'clock in the morning. The first time I was in, you used to get opened up at 8 o'clock in the morning, go around to the servery. You'd get a little bowl of cornflakes or a little whatever, little pot of milk like that, 200 ml of milk. And you would, if you were lucky, some places you'd get 2 sausages in a bun. That was in Durham. I think up Accrington, which is now Northumberland, used to get that as well. And it was actually quite tasty. You can put a bit of weight on in jail if you wanted. This way, everyone puts weight on, to be honest. But it's always a bad weight. You always turn massive. Everyone's walking around with a pot belly look. Big beer bellies. But when I went back in this time, you don't even get unlocked for breakfast. What they do is, when you go around for your evening meal, they would have a little what he calls a tea pack. So you get a tea pack with enough to make maybe 2 cups of tea. You would have a little pot of milk in it, and a portion of cornflakes that wouldn't even fill your 5-year-old kid up. But the problem that they have there was, right, when they're giving you your meals at tea time, the meals are actually absolutely tiny. not enough to fill you up. Like I say, it wouldn't fill your 5-year-old son up, or Ben up, or whatever. So you've got people going back to the pads with the evening meal. And then they've got the breakfast pack, which is supposed to be for the breakfast in the morning. But if you imagine you're stuck in your pad, gets to 8, 9 o'clock at night, you're starving, you've got nothing in your pad apart from your breakfast pack. So what do? You eat your breakfast pack, and then you've got nothing to eat until 12 o'clock the next day. And then when you go down to the server, you're absolutely starving. You get bumped with pure crap scran. You get like for your dinner, you don't even get a warm meal. You get a dry bun with a piece of ham in a plastic bag. I've got to take out and make your own sandwich. But how is that going to fill someone up, you know what I mean? Especially a big lad. Or you would get a sausage roll, or a cheese sandwich, or a chicken sandwich. But the chicken, it was like chicken and mayonnaise. It was pure, horrible. It was like, chicken hasn't got fat on, has it? But you get these lumps of chicken, it was just like little lumps of gristle, little lumps of fat. And that was what you used to put in your sandwich. Absolutely disgusting. But when I went back in this time, I got a job on the servery, serving the food up. So the servery lads get a bit of a touch, because a lot of the food that's left over at the end, see, all the lads have been fed on the wing. Maybe some of them have getting out, or some of them haven't turned up for the dinner, or some of them are ate court or whatever. So there's loads of leftovers. That's if the screws, the hungry fuckers, haven't getting in there first. Because they generally see who's not coming down, take everything off for themselves, leaving out for the lads. I used to look at them and think, you're going home, you can eat what you want, but yet you're coming down here pinching the lads' food, you know what I mean? But absolute shite anyway, the food. But when I went back in this time in home house, I started eating all the wrong food, and it was all the leftover pies, pasties, sandwiches. But bearing in mind, when you're hungry, you gotta eat them. So I'll be taking them back to my pad, and I just started scranning them. I ballooned up to 19 stone, and that was where I got my inspiration for see ya. And that was where I got my inspiration for getting fit and writing my book. Because when I got that unfit and then I got locked down because of the coronavirus, I felt unfit. I was going on the yard, doing circuits with the lads, and I was just extremely out of breath. So that's when I said to myself, I need to change this. So I started doing circuits every day on the yard, got myself extremely fit, started getting the other lads out, and I was actually good at what I was doing, because I've trained since I went into prison when I was 20-year-old. 37 now, been training 17 years. This was like the year and a half back. See, I was been training 15 years, so I had 15 years worth of knowledge. So I'm out on the yard, getting everyone fit. Even some of my mates, I was going to the pads. They'd been up all night because they can't sleep because of the mental health problems, heads up their arses. And then they've missed their association or whatever. They haven't been down for breakfast. Been in the pads for about 2 or 3 days. The pads are absolutely stinking. So you look through the flap and they've got the windows blocked up. So there's no sunlight at all coming in the pad. Just living in a little cave. No one even going to check on them to see if they're still alive. So one of my pals, I'll be banging on his door saying, oh, what's the matter with you, man? Get yourself out. So eventually got him out. And he started training, and I started getting him extremely fit, boosted his mental health, and everyone was seeing a change in him. So the rest of the lads were joining in. Ended up having about 10 of us, all on the yard together doing workouts. And always at the forefront, come on lads, get them done, get them burpees done. Egging everyone on, making sure no one was cheating on the reps. There's a lot of them standing away doing the circuit. So you've got to do 20 burpees. I've been doing them for weeks. So I was here for a month, sorry, at this point. Lads are coming in. And within, I'm on to meet number 10 and they're finished. I'm like, oh yeah man, there's no point in cheating. You're only cheating yourself. So I was egging the lads on, getting them all extremely fit, creating my own workouts and routines. I started jotting all the ideas down, put it into my book, and that's where I got my book, Behind the Bars Ruthless Fitness. I came up with a few different names for the book at first. It took us a few months to actually come up with that name. Kept chopping and changing it. Then it was just going to be kind of Behind the Bars Fitness. And then I thought, no, it's Ruthless Fitness, because the way that we were training was ruthless. We're in a ruthless environment. Had to be ruthless with my thoughts, and had to be ruthless with the other people to get them out trained as well. Put a bit of pressure on them, but I was doing it in a good way. I was making them better in themselves, you know. So Behind the Bars Ruthless Fitness, that's where I came from. And I'm selling books daily all over the world, worldwide. I'm actually quite proud of what I've done and all the feedback that I'm getting. But getting back to the prison, the food, what I'd done was I stopped eating the food off the servery and I was buying a couscous. You could buy a 500 gram bag for £1 and you could get 5 meals out of it at 100 gram a slot. Or if you were, I was eating sometimes 50 grams at a time. It's quite filling and it's got a lot of carbs in. So I'd have 100 gram of couscous, put a little bit of spice in to flavour it. And then I'd have a tin of mackerel and I would have a tin of mixed veg, and that would be my dinner. For my breakfast I would have 50 gram of porridge, about 15 grams of peanut butter and a banana, and a bit of protein if I had any. Then I would have that for my dinner, what I've just mentioned. And then later on I would probably have something similar. Or when I went down to the servery, the nighttime meal, I generally did have a healthy snack on, a healthy meal on, sorry. But one of them was, I used to have bean goulash. But I would just put I would put a tin of tuna in with my bean goulash, mix it up, have a little bit of rice just to get the carbs in. And then later on for a snack, I'll probably have a protein shake and a bit of fruit. But I've done that consistently. I had the same thing every day for 6 months. I went from 19 stone to 16.5 stone. And my mindset was just brand new, in a positive mindset, positive outlook. Couldn't wait to get out, get back into the world. But obviously I had to wait for me parole hearing because of my PP lifer. Had no release date, didn't know when I'd be getting out. But eating food definitely makes you feel better as well. It all comes hand in hand if you're doing it all together. For your exercising your mind, eating healthy, it gets your whole outlook in a different view, positive outlook. But I've carried on doing it now. But I'm getting back to the food. Because like I say, this is just a bit of a waffle on this. Getting back to the prison food. It's just designed to to fill you up really. It doesn't fill you up because you don't get enough of it. But the stuff that they give you is just pure garbage. There's no goodness in it at all. But that's my take on the prison food. Absolute junk, but we're not in there to be fed like kings are. We've got to make the most of it. I remember when I was in Frankland though, the lads I was knocking around with, doing bits and bobs on the wing to make some money. And we used to get paid in meat. And we're on a food boat. There was about 5 or 6 of us on there. It's called a food boat. And what a food boat is when you all chip in to buy food and you all take turns to cook it. So there'll be 5 of us on the food boat. And I'll tell you who was on the food boat. Actually, there was obviously myself, Willie Moore, Darren G goes on about them. Them two were enemies. So there was Willie Moore, Peter O'Toole. He's a hitman. He's been in about 18 years now. He was wanting in more beer and everything. But who else? There was Russell Snowden from Durham. Willie Moore, I'll tell you a little bit about Willie Moore. He's a multi-millionaire from Liverpool. Proper big time player, proper big time gangster. He's doing a 30-year tariff for killing Darren G's pal. Who else? My dad. So there was 5 of us on the food boat. Stevie Blackburn from up Newcastle. That's where I first met Stevie. So there was like I say, there was me, my dad, Stevie, Russell, Peter, Willie Moore. Sorry, there was 6 of us. And we used to eat together all the time in there. And like I say, some of the lads were doing what they had to do, and we were getting paid in meat. So we had a big bin liner. It was like a clear big sack bin liner full of meat, because you had your own freezers in there, big chest freezers. And what we didn't have in there, you couldn't get. We had full chickens, steaks, lamb chops, you name it. We had that much meat, we didn't know what to do with it. But like I say, we used to take turns cooking the food. Sometimes I'd go out to the gym, come back and my food would be there. Big plate of whatever. So you come back from the gym, that's when you were eating and living like a king. You weren't living like a king as in out here, because obviously you're in a prison environment, you're stuck in jail. But what I mean by that is, some of the lads would say to you in jail, fucking hell, you're living like a king, aren't you? But like I say, when you're in jail, you can't make the most of it. But I'm talking about, what, 15, 16 years ago, yeah. But what I will say in these videos as well, when I'm talking about prison and that, I'm not glorifying it, I'm not bigging it up. Prison is not a place to be. So don't think it's big and clever and think you want to go to the jail. Because believe me, when you get in there, you're stuck by yourself. You've got to be a man, or you turn into a victim. You've got no choice. But getting back to the scran, I'll tell you a little tale about the 12 disciples. No, what it was, there was this other food boat, and there was 12 lads on the food boat for Christmas dinner. Because a couple of the food boats used to come together on Christmas when we saw our Christmas dinner. Yeah. So this other food boat, there was 12 lads around the table, and at the head of the table there was a fella called Jesus. Think of that one, eh? Christmas Day, 12 of them around the table, Jesus at the head of the table. And I'll tell you who he is. He's a Colombian fella. He was a Colombian cartel. He was based in the UK, sorting out all the finances over here for the Colombian mafia. I think he was doing a 28 rec. No, not a rec, sorry, 28-year sentence for drug importation and all that. But he was at the head of the table. Everyone was laughing their backs off, this saying, fucking hell, you couldn't write this stuff, could you? But like I say, on Christmas, he used to make the most of it in there. We used to come together for the food boat, and a couple of them would, a couple of the tables would join up, and we make the most of it. Sometimes I think we had ours on Christmas Eve, and I'll tell you the reason we had it on Christmas Eve was because Christmas Day we used to party. in Frankland. We used to session on. And if you've seen me podcast before, you'll have seen us talking about it. But one of the parties we had, I'll never forget. Like I say, at the time, the mindset I was in, I remember saying to me pals, fucking hell, it's the best Christmas I've ever had. This was before I was married and had kids. And this was the mindset I was in. I was in prison, away from my mother, my family. And I'm saying I had the fucking best Christmas ever. And the reason why I did that was because I think it was my first Christmas in Frankland. And all the lads that we were having it with, there was a few other ones in the pod. It was Kevin Lane. If a lot of you have been watching the podcast, you'll know Kevin Lane. He was a convicted hitman, wrongly convicted, may I add. He's still fighting for justice. I hope he gets it. Really good bloke, Kevin. Got a lot of time for Kev, I like Kev. But anyways, we were all in the pod, having a session. In the middle of the floor, there was a big bucket of hooch. Everyone was coming in with the cups, dipping it in, straight down the hatch. One little cupful and you were pissed off it was that strong. But we had MDMA, coke, skunk. We even had head downs for the come down. So everyone's in the pods, had the music on, bouncing away, fucking loving it. Ricky Norton was in the pod, kid from up here. He's from Whitley Bay, from New Biggin now. That's where I first met him. Another good pal of mine. Ricky was the same age as me. He was doing same sentence, 4-year IPP for 2 Section 18s. So anyways, getting back to it, we were all in the pod. Had a bit of MDMA, had a bit of coke. Fucking jaws all over the place, scaring them. People forgetting where they're at. Ricky was going around the wing, introducing himself, shaking his hand, saying, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. The lads were saying, you've been on the wing fucking 6 months, you daft cunt, we know who you are. It was funny that, but anyways, Kevin Lane had a little bit too much. He's on the end of the bed, head in his hands, off his trolley, spewing in the sink. And I remember going in, we were sitting in the pad, and he tried to flush it away with a tap, but it was just stuck in the sink, and the sink was just filling up. So Ricky Norton come in, full of whatever, and he was that friend. He was going, here lads, watch out the way, I'll sort it out. Had his fingers in the sink, dipping in, getting the sick out the way, cleaned the sink and all that. And then we were all sitting there erect, and some screw walked past from the fucking, he normally on the non-swings at the bottom, and he walked past the pad, and he looks in and he says, what the hell's going on here? So we all look at him like that. The fuck do you mean what's going on here? You can see what's going on here, pal. And he says, I'm not having this. So he went down, seen the other screws, but bearing in mind this screw didn't normally work on that wing. He worked on the non-swings. He wasn't used to seeing this. So pops me head out the door to see what he's doing, looks down. He's tarting the other screws. There's about 4 of them on the wing. 4 screws on the wing. How many of us was? I think it was 80 lads on the wing, all absolute lunatics. Serial killers, mass murderers, a lot. And then there's this screw trying to tell us what to do on Christmas Day. And I was listening. He says, listen, we need to get this fucking party stopped in here. The screws turn around the guns. Listen, just let them get on with it. As long as they go behind the door, we don't mind. So the screws come to him, having a bit shot. He says, hey, you're going to go behind your door, bang up time, lads. Of course we are. We're not here to cause trouble. Christmas Day, we're having a bit of a frisk, you know what I mean? So, fair enough. See you later, boss. Off you get. So, what we done was, 2 minutes, Tommy. So what we done was, this is Tommy coming in there. So what we done was, fucking losing what I'm saying now because old Tommy came in. I saw the screws, and what they done was, we said, look, there's an each we're going behind the door, bang up. Screw said, fair enough. Like I say, it's Christmas Day, they didn't want to be there in the first place. So they didn't want any chew, and we didn't want any chew. So it comes to bang up time, we're all shaking hands as if it's the end of the nightclub and the end of the night. Fucking on a cracking day, lads, fucking hell, love you to bits. See you later. Back in the pod, fucking music full blast. Pen lid out, didn't have any chewing gums, I was fucking chewing the fucking bits off the pen lid. Sitting there, fucking smashed. Fucking passing lines backwards and forwards to the kid next door. Here, get some of that. Kid next door, tunes are on banging. Every cunt's fucking partying. Ricky, you know what one of the screws tells us? They look through his flap. It's in the middle of his pad like that, giving it some. Doing the Ricky Gervais. See you, mate? So so he was off his chops in the pod. Like I say, I'm just in the middle of the train, I'm in the gym, people's on the way out. But so everyone's off the chops, and the next day, horrible. On a pure cum doing in jail. Everyone, but we cheered ourselves up by having a bit of decent scran. We got some big, we had some big cakes. I think they were £10 at the time. They come in like pizza tray boxes. Big, massive, lovely things. Imagine being in jail, shit food, and you get something like this. But absolutely lush. There was a bit of a fucking chow happened one day because one of the cakes went missing. One of the local lads up here fucking ended up on the smack. Went and pinched the fucker for a bit of fucking tenner bag, didn't he? Or he was going to get served right up. All the lads went to have a bit of cake. This wasn't on the Boxing Day, this was a different incident. Went to have a bit of cake, we're all like, I know, who's after a bit of cake, starving. Comes down to the fridge. Some dirty bastard pinched it. It was a kid, like I say, it was a kid from up this end, used to be a right hard lad. Ended up, because some people you got one way or the other in jail. You either get on with it, take it like a man, or you get on the drugs and turn into a little fucking rat. The majority of them are rats anyway before they get in the jail, so as soon as they get in jail and there's a bit of drugs on offer, they just bang on it. But I was going to get served right up. We found out who it was. Bearing in mind, we're all on a wing together. Everyone knows each other. Didn't take 5 minutes to find out who's been trying to sell a big lump of fucking cake. A couple of lads went in the pad, pinned him down, put a spike to his eye. Trying to get his eye poked out. Imagine losing your eye for pinching a bit of cake. But it's not just the cake, it's the principle of it. But talking about, anyways, we ended up getting the cake back. He got a bit of a freebie. The lad didn't want to take his eye out for the cake, just thought not worth it. But I'll tell you another, sorry, get this clear in my throat, people. Another incident where someone was going to get it, but his budgie got it instead. I'll talk about this on another video, like I'll just give you a quick thing about what happened. I'll tell you who the lad was in another video because that's a good topic to talk about. But the kid was debted up, he didn't pay his debt, he was avoiding it. He went in his pad at bang up time, couldn't see his budgie. The budgie wasn't chirping on as normal. Looked down his toilet, dead budgie. Fucking head had been torn off, chucked in his bog. He'd had it for fucking 2 years, something like that. And that was because he didn't pay his debts. But I think I'll wrap that up there for now because that's 30 minutes. And I've got people in the gym here waiting for us. But if you like the content, like and subscribe, and I will keep you updated on more videos and more things that happened in Frankland, entertaining, funny things. But enjoy your weekend, people. Take care.